plateau also.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that we were working the lasso a lot before, and then I feel like there was a proficiency that I hit with it, but now I need to add an aspect or change an aspect in order to get more things working. Because the more that I've been playing with it, people's defense are increasing. They're like, oh, here comes the guy pull lasso. Here
comes the slicers coming, right? Yeah,
and
for sure.
so people's defense, and there's something to say of like, oh, we'll just get better than their defense, figure that puzzle out. But there's also variables and multiple game plans that you can apply.
For sure.
Rather than running into the brick wall over and over.
For sure. And that's key, that if you feel like it's a brick wall, like, you got to go around it. Like, if there was a literal brick wall in front of us, nobody would try to pound their head through it. But in jiu-jitsu, we do that all the time. Right? It's like, no, go over, around, under, something else. That's how you get by it, right? And usually that's going to be with building off of it, right? Like, okay, so you have a good lasso game. What if they flip the wrist and have the hand behind the hamstring? Then what? And it's going to be building off of it. Like, switch your grip, boom. And as they're flipping their hand, you're already letting go and switching your grip because you understand what to do next, right? You got to have plan B, you got to have plan C, you got to have plan D.
And I think at lower levels, that can be very intimidating or frustrating for people. I feel like I've gone through that before with like closed guard and that sort of thing, is where you're proficient and then everything stops working and then you're like, bang, and then you build a whole game off of it where you're going back, left, right, isolating arms, going back to chokes and such.
Yeah.
And so I think higher belts have done that in 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. And so instead of being like, oh man, I suck now, they're just like, okay, this is another one of those plateaus.
Right.
I got through it before, I'll get through this one. It's just a matter of working it out and grinding.
Right, absolutely. And what's going to happen probably is that people are going to start to avoid the position altogether on you. Like, that's what's going to happen. People will know, they'll start literally dodging you grabbing their sleeve from the beginning of the match, right? Because they know if you get the sleeve, you're going to sit, you're going to pull, that leg's going to wrap around, and I'm going to be stuck in the lasso, right? And you'll get some people that they don't learn that quickly, right? So they're working on escaping it, right? They're the ones that are trying to break out of jail rather than not go to jail in the first place. You know what I mean? But yeah, the good guys are going to start to avoid the position altogether, right? Like me and you talked about the closed guard thing. People that understand jiu-jitsu and that are good at jiu-jitsu, they don't let you get them in a full closed guard. They just don't. They understand that that's an upside down mount. It's an inverted mount. So if a guy's good at jiu-jitsu and he closes his full guard on you, you are on the defense. You're in trouble, right? So you just avoid the position altogether. And they find that which is the truth, which is that a lot of these positions are easy to avoid, bro. It's very easy to avoid somebody getting you in a full closed guard, right? Very easy to avoid. In fact, I know I've taught stuff like that. Like, you teach like a couple weeks of full closed guard, and then during the positionals, you're realizing, or during the sparring, you're realizing nobody's able to do it because nobody's letting each other get in a full closed guard.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to see you guys working the stuff we've been doing, and then you watch the sparring, and you're like, okay, well, he's trying, but you're not going to let him get you in a closed guard, are you? Okay, damn. Right, so then you get the tricks, right? The shin-to-shin tricks to get to closed guard or whatever, which are cool. They're cool and all, but really you got to just build off of it. Okay, you got to react to what they're actually doing. Develop a really good open guard game, and then that open guard game is going to present opportunities for your closed guard. Because they're going to start working to defend your open guard stuff, and you're going to see opportunities to get a closed guard. Right, it's going to open everything up. But yeah, building off and not being stubborn. Right.
I was talking to my guys the other night about open guard, and when you think about closed guard, it's a very set position. There's a lot of options that you can do with upper body and as you're moving and hipping, but open guard is kind of like this open format because there's so many different guards from open guard.
Oh yeah. Open guard is like such a vague term, right?
It's extremely, because there's so many different contact points and discontact and your De La Hiva and your lasso or your spider, and there's so many different guards from open guard that calling it open guard is almost there should be a different
be
word
more specific, but
because there's so many different ways to play an open guard.
Right. And I think if I had like a white belt or something, or maybe a blue belt, I probably wouldn't say work on your open guard because it is too vague.
Yeah.
But if I have an advanced guy, I'm gonna be that vague because I know he's gonna be able to narrow it down, right? Like to the specific things that he can do with his open guard. Because by the time you're like, you know, a good purple belt, brown belt or whatever, like, you know what you're doing and what you're not. And the odds of you, like, you know, adding some completely different guard to your game are pretty slim. At that point, you're pounding out what you're good at. You're becoming a brown belt, a black belt at what you already understand. You know what I mean? So it's a little easier for an advanced guy to take advice like, you know, work on your open guard and actually apply it. Yeah, you tell that to a new white belt, they're like, so, okay.
What do I grab?
Ryan, what do I do with my hands, bro? Yeah, for sure, man.